Hey, what's up, La Familia? You crazy football-loving nutters. This is Ray Hudson, and you are luxuriating in listening to the Inter Miami podcast with the stupefyingly magnificent Jay and Alex. Two lads who are as electrifying as a hairdryer thrown into a hot tub. Stay tuned, because you know what it's going to be. It's going to be magisterial with an amplifier.
The cross goes, he's done it again. Taylor squares it for Victor Ulloa. It's one up. Ulloa and Taylor. Job done for Inter Miami. Let it in by Morte. What? 6. It's 2 for Miami. Damian Lowell doubles the lead. Some days you can just sense something wicked. This way it comes.
The only way to go is up. It's up. That's the only way to go. I guess the losses are starting to not really even hurt as much because we know that our boy Messi's coming here. I mean, it still feels like a dream, but man, play still brutal out there.
I mean, it's very clear to me you've never ridden the Tower of Terror at Disney, because clearly you think you're going up and then you drop down really quickly and then they take you a little bit up and then they drop you all the way back down. But yeah, it's not in 20 something years probably. Yeah. Well, I mean that is fair, but
I think I was terrified as a kid on the Tower of Terror.
Well, try being my size at like 13, 14 and then trying to be like stuffed into that thing. I was not all about it. But like I said, not great. The wheels came off. It wasn't a good first look for any prospective Inter Miami fan. But hey, welcome to our world. Not everything's rainbows and sunshine over here. So
I just love seeing all the people like melt down on Twitter, like Messi picked this team over Barcelona. Like, this team is trash. I'm just like, yep, first time, huh? Like, yep, welcome to the House of Pain, man. But Messi's gonna save us all, right?
I bet you Laporte is looking at that going, he chose them over us. What are we doing wrong?
Yep.
What did we do?
We'll see, man. It's gonna need to be a lot of and friends coming in. You know, you keep hearing the term Messi and friends. I can't wait to see all the friends that are coming over, because we're gonna need them. We're gonna get into all of that. But welcome everyone to the Inter Miami podcast. I am Jay Kinkton, joined by, per usual, Mr. Than Harrington. How are you doing? What's going on in your world, bud?
Not a lot, my dude. You know how it goes. Just constantly staying busy, keeping up with the Twitter and the Instagram, social media, nonstop madness that we've got going on in the past week. And I'm ready. I'm getting excited. You know, I'm going to see our boys in 2 weeks. I'm going to see them live for probably the last time all year. Well, second to last time all year. Before I will be able to not afford it anymore. But hey, gotta experience the good times while we have them, right?
Yep. Well, hey, that's a good point, right? Because about to get the Nations League break, so Inter Miami can't hurt our feelings for about 2 weeks, basically. So can't lose if we don't play. Therefore, we're about to go on a 2-week unbeaten streak in my mind. But yeah, that's how. You gotta look for the positives, man. Especially coming off a brutal 3-1 defeat against the New England Revolution in Foxboro on that godforsaken turf field that has claimed the legs of yet another Inter Miami player. Where do we start here, buddy?
Well, do we want to get into the turf field thing real quick?
You want to do that first? We can do that first.
I do, because I feel some type of way. I know I'm not the only one. I know I rip on Coco a little bit. We called him the fashionista last year. Like, they just took him out of the closet long enough to do the photo shoot for the team store and then put him back into the closet and say, all right, we'll come get you another 5 months. But I genuinely, my heart broke yesterday because you could hear the audible just scream. He knew. Immediately he knew. The trainers knew as soon as they got over to him. And it was very similar to Chicharito. What was it last week, where he went down mid run of play in the attack and just crumple to the ground. We have to do better by our teams. We have to do better by our players. We have to do better, first and foremost, for both of those two. And then for third, the fans, right? The fans pay to see the best players. If we're not protecting the best players and the teams, then we cannot provide a quality product. Turf fields, in my mind, they have to go. If you ever played on one, it is a miserable experience. You always end up sore after the fact. They do not provide, at least in my mind, the same cushion that a grass field would. I would like to see them go. I'd like to see the league push for some of these teams that do not have grass fields or even like a grass mix per se, get different fields. I don't know. I mean, I think I do know what your thoughts are, Jay, but what do you think about the turf field situation?
We got to do something, man. It's just mind blowing, right? Like NFL, American football can be played on this all day, every day. And yes, there are injuries. Yes, you still see those non-contact injuries, but there's just something there about, I guess, consistently playing the sport. And we're talking, soccer or football, playing on a grass field and then going to turf where it's just a recipe for disaster. It's crazy. It's certainly not the first time. It won't be the last time the turf has claimed individuals, whether it be something as minuscule as turf toe, which is an absolute pain in the you-know-what to get over. It's strange. Yeah, he went down. It's like his cleat got caught. He clinched that knee immediately. And then Kai Utsumi, the awesome trainer we have, it was instantly ran out, and they were doing some stress tests, trying to guess what the injury was. And he's going to undergo an MRI, and obviously all the proper channels that you should go through in an injury like this. But without giving a definitive answer of what it is, I mean, it looks like a classic ACL tear or MCL tear or sprain, something of that magnitude. And in a world where we lose Gregory in the third game of the season, then shortly after lose Mota, there was no Dixon Arroyo in this game. He was injured. And now Coco seems to be out. Now, to be fair, Dixon should be back soon, but Coco, if this is truly, as a lot of people are suspecting, an ACL tear, that's basically essentially 3 starters that are no longer going to be able to play throughout the season, and we're going to have to rely on youngsters even more.
Don't forget Franco Negri was also out last night due to concussion protocol. So
yes,
it's one more injury to add to the list.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, right? I mean, not the concussions are, they're not fun to deal with, but luckily that he will be back, whether that be probably after the break on the 24th against the Philadelphia Union. Going to be another tough game, obviously, but we're talking about 3 of the key players of the roster that are gone for the season, essentially. And it's just tough, man. So a lot of people are like, oh, this team sucks. Why would Messi pick this team? It's like, yeah, to be fair, you could say we suck, but you must really understand the bigger picture here. And we've just been decimated, man. Phil got a raw deal. Like, these injuries don't help. And now, Coach Mo coming in and just another one gone. And, and you saw even, dealing with the injuries that we already had. I mean, the roster that we or the lineup rather that we put out, really all youngsters in the midfield. We got Ian Frey, Ruiz, Kramashi, Noah Allen got the start as well. So we had 4 academy guys starting, probably combined age of, I don't know, 70 something years old, probably less than 80 years. And this is what we're going to lean on for the remainder of the season. And man, I'll tell you what, throughout this game, you could just tell as time went on, you could see it on the face. It was visible. They were defeated. Frustrations were apparent last night, even for, the quote unquote senior leader of the team, Josef Martinez. I mean, you saw him, yelling out, shouting probably at the God or the devil, whoever is looking up in the sky at. He was getting visibly frustrated because, let's be honest, man, the game wasn't that. It's not like we got crushed. Like, statistically, we played pretty well. I mean, there were good spells of possession and there were good spells of attack, but this team cannot get a final ball of quality out there to Joseph. It's always just off or, slightly off or just very wide off. And obviously Joseph isn't a very tall guy. So you got to be pretty accurate with the balls because it's not like he can jump, but, it's not as easy for him as probably Leo Campana just, getting ahead to it. So, the young kids, they're just that. They're young. They're going to mature. So they're going to get better at, holding themselves to a more, I guess, professional, higher standard that the coaching and front office would want to see. But, you could tell that they were passionate. It's just a good thing, right? Like that, the frustration, the feet on their face, because they're passionate and they care. And obviously it's affecting them. But, man, the team's not in a good place, but it is good because this year these youngins will get a lot of experience, and I think that will be a silver lining of something beneficial in the future.
Yeah, I mean, one of the telltale signs last night, it was towards the end of the match when Leo came on, was Joseph got the ball out to the left-hand side of the box. He darted in looking to create space, and then Leo made the exact same run, and no one backfilled. So when Joseph put the ball in the middle, there's nobody there, right? To some of these players, it's almost like there's a force field around the outside of the box where they are not allowed to cut in and make a move unless their name is Joseph Martinez or Leo Campana or Robbie Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating because of all the potential talent we have right now that is just getting frustrated and not being able to show their full capabilities because not everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
And I said yesterday in our halftime discussion and post-game discussion, the Discord channel, I said, you can't expect Noah Allen to jump right in there to a Franco Negri role because they're two completely different players. Franco can maraud up the field. He's the one that's going to pull the shot. You saw Noah last night. And it's tough for me to say this because I love Noah. I've loved Noah for years. He's a great player in my mind. He's going to be a great player. But Noah had the exact same opportunity that Franco did to shoot that ball, and Noah passed it up. And I think the ball ended up getting turned over in that passage of play.
Yeah. Well, so, and to your point, like a lot of times they're crossing and no one's even in the box. It's like no one's making the run and they're just kicking it up there for hope. But, Noah, there was a lot of backwards passing as well from Noah just because no one's making those attacking runs to where you can connect. It's like everyone's just kind of waiting for someone to do it all on their own, and it's not a winning recipe. That's certainly not going to be great when Messi comes.
No, it looked similar to when you give your younger brother the controller when he finally challenges you to play some FIFA, and he doesn't know what all the buttons do.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just starts crossing the ball at random spots, or he starts ripping them from deep when there's no chance. I mean, if you really want a telltale sign, look at the shot chart of New England to ours. Almost all of New England's shots were within the box, minus maybe 4 or 5, and almost all of ours were from outside. It's not a winning recipe unless you have snipers out there that are capable of banging them home and not putting them 10 yards over the net. I mean, hell, Sergey took a shot from outside last night. That's how desperate we were to find any spark.
Mm-hmm.
And that shot was, it was ugly. I think it went up second tier, honest to God, in Gillette Stadium. So, again, not a great initial, hey, how you doing, from the Inter Miami organization to the potential new fans, but we have to move forward.
We do. And, yeah, man, statistically, like, this wasn't even a bad game. It's crazy. I do want to give praise to Ian Frey, another great showing. The dude just has so much potential from coming out of, his comfort area as a center back to more in that CDM role. And he's not playing like a traditional CDM, man. Like, he's going to get up there and make some stuff happen. Incredibly great with his feet, with his ability to change. And we all know that he's not afraid to rip him. But, I mean, even statistically wise, like, possession, 56% our way. I don't think we were really expecting that. New England's got a really great team. A lot of experience in the midfield, which is clearly something we're lacking. But like shots pretty accurate. I mean, the same, total passing wise, we had 542. They only had 419. We were more accurate with our passes. We had more crosses, more duels won. There's just more tackles won. I mean, everything was there. We did get a lot of yellow cards. It seemed like that at one point. I think basically the entire defense was carded up at one point. So. Pretty sketchy out there, but 3-1, not great for sure. it didn't really take too long to get things rolling. And once they did, oh man, was it in fact rolling? 27th minute, Carlos Hill gets a PK. PK that was awarded from, I don't want to say a horrible mistake, but a pretty significant mistake. I think DeAndre Yedlin should have known better than cutting him off rather in the box. Like there's no other outcome of that besides the penalty. I understand there were some other, individuals that probably put him in a bad position to do that, but that's coming up. And Carlos Hill, I mean, that guy is just a stud. So he's coming up on the penalty spot. It's very high chance he's scoring. Didn't take long. And then in the 34th minute is when Coco went down, and break of probably 5-6 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes. Yeah. And then, some people said, oh, that's kind of poor sportsmanship. Cause like literally right after, the drop ball setup, it's just another goal by Polster, an assist by Gill, beautifully placed header, beautifully placed header, and accurate cross by Carlos Hill, which is, I hate seeing that because we don't have that person that can serve the accurate cross. But again, Carlos Hill is that dude. Then the fouls come, we make some changes. Once Coco went down, Robbie Taylor came on, and Robbie Taylor can inject some energy. He does have those probably 4, so I'm not going to say 5-star skill moves, but he's got a solid 4-star skill move setup. And was trying to breathe life in there right after halftime, basically. Pizarro comes on for Benha Kramashi. And then the 51st minute, Bobby Wood, man. Comes in, near post on Drake and 3-0, and that was it, right? I mean, that was probably it after the going down 2-0 in the first half. Then Frey comes out for Campana. We're obviously going to push more, and credit to Javier Morales, credit to him making those changes to get more attackers on the field because we're down 3-0. I'm not sure we see that with Phil. He probably tries to ride it out a little longer. Game goes on, ugly. We had some chances. Can't finish them. Can't get the ball. And then we do get a lucky hand-me-down pity goal, I guess, PK. And Martinez snatches that one immediately after Campana missed it against the Red Bulls. So, shout out to Joseph for just saying, nope, I'll handle this one. He gets it, sends him the wrong way. Nice little stutter. Scores 3-1. I jokingly said, now we're making a comeback, but that, again, was a pure joke. Game finishes out. Quite a bit of extra added time in both halves, and just another all-around disappointing, disheartening, and thank God of the news earlier this week because, that's keeping everyone's spirits high because this equates to another 6-game losing streak, so the second 6-game losing streak of the season. And we do get a break to try and regroup and get some of the players back from injuries. So that's a good sign. But overall, man, what were your thoughts?
You kind of already touched on it. Extremely disappointed. I always expect a lot out of the young guns. And I think tonight is a night where we expected too much. I openly admit that. We already touched on it. Don't want to beat a dead horse. I love my academy guys, and I always back them 110%. But tonight was a night where we just expected too much out of them. Shout out to Ian. I'm glad to see him back out there. I think you and I are ecstatic to see him performing. He got robbed of 2 years, which is unfair to him. But maybe those 2 years helped him to grow mentally through some pretty devastating times for any young athlete.
Just imagine if he had those 2 years of play under his belt, though, man. Ooh, he would be a serious threat.
Yeah, we probably would have wasted his talents and shipped him off. But, anyways. No, but you know what? I'm also loving me some David Ruiz. I love the aggression in him. Imagine if we can put a harness on that and have 2 pit bulls in the middle with Gregory and him. Whew, it's going to be a good old time. One player we failed to touch on. Shout out Eddie Azcona getting some playing time.
Yeah. Good point.
I'm thrilled for Eddie. I He's probably the first Inter Miami game-worn jersey I actually have from the Juneteenth way back when. I have that in a box. I'm waiting to hang it up here very soon. He's been balling out for the Dominican Republic, so it's awesome to see him get some playing time. In terms of our starters, Chris McVay, what happened to you? The own goal against New York City really put some bad juju on this guy. He had a phenomenal season last year, and he just looks like a shell of his former self. Sergey doing Sergey things in the middle, no problem there. Big ups to our boy Drake Callender once again. He was the one out there calming Joseph down when he was screaming at the heavens during the Coco Jean injury break. He was the one having conversations with him. It was shown pretty clearly on the broadcast what he was saying to him. But other than that, I do want to point out one thing: stop hating on Robbie Taylor. I know I'm a Robbie Taylor fan. I know I'm always going to back Robbie Taylor, but he went out there and did everything he could to try and make something happen. And he's the one that's catching the flack online. I just don't understand how that's playing out. But you know what is what it is. I'm just ready to move on from this. I really don't have anything more to add than that. It's try to stay positive, and it's really, really tough for that. Hey, you know what? I will say, congratulations, Joseph. He did move past Taylor Twellman, 10th all time. He officially owns the 10th spot with 102 goals. So, shout out to him. Major ups. Well deserved.
Agreed. And it's gonna be interesting to see. Number one, I mean, how long will we have Joseph? Right, but he's only 30 years old, man. You know, I mean, he can play at a high level still. You know, he's still making a comeback from those the knee injuries and everything. But, you know, he should really have, 3-4 years left in the tank. And who's I think Kai Kamara's in second, getting really close to overtaking. So there's a solid chance if Joseph can find a solid form for the next, 3-4 years, whether it be with us or with someone else, that he could make a push to potentially become the MLS leading goal scorer.
Yep. So Kamara right now this was as of a while ago, but still, Kai Kamara is in third.
Okay.
At the time of this posting, he had 149 goals. That's gone up because this only shows Joseph at 107. But with that being said, Joseph's going to have quite a climb because there's quite a gap between where he's at and where some of the other players are at, like Razov, Wright Phillips, Moreno, Cunningham, Kamara, Donovan. And I would be genuinely shocked if anybody catches the wonderful man himself, Wondolowski. Storied career, fantastic striker, in my opinion, wonderful player of the ball. So with that being said, Joseph's going to make a push, but it's going to be one of those. It's going to be tough for him to push too far without getting some support and maybe even getting a change of scenery. I hate saying that already, but with the and friends, like we always allude to, he might be looking for a change of scenery because the club sounds like they're going to stick with Leo for the long term. So,
and I mean, here's the thing, dude. In terms of, he's got such an advantage in matches played. I mean, almost everyone on this list is well over the 200 mark. A lot of them at over 300, and Wando 419, Kai Kamara 421. So Joseph still has a lot of time on the side. That'll be something just interesting to watch. But yeah, hey, again, as we said in the beginning, the only way to go from here is up. It really can't get much worse. We do, again, obviously Messi, heavily linked to Tata Martino. Heavily linked with Luis Suarez, with Angel Di Maria, and now you're seeing this Neymar stuff come up, which, again, David Beckham did interview Neymar 2 years ago, something like that, and Neymar said, yes, I'll come play for Inter Miami, albeit they were laughing, so who knows how much of a joke that is or if it really does happen. But I honestly would not be surprised if, Neymar was here in a year and a half, something like that. There's been crazier things that have happened. Anton Griezmann, again, is going to want to come over to the MLS on his next stop. I believe he's under contract till 2026 with Atletico, but they might make some changes. So we're going to need it. But, keep your heads up. Let's just keep riding this Messi news because it makes us feel good and makes us happy because it's been so much pain. Oh, buddy boy. So we have had some moves that have been made. Obviously, we discussed last week that Victor Ulloa would be making a move, first reported by Franco and mentioned to us on the Battered Herons podcast. And then the Robbie Robinson news came out. But just this week, not too long after Messi, it was announced that our new shiny toy that we got from the Red Bulls, who was supposed to be basically the Red Bulls version of Bryce Duke, right? And all the LA fans that were so mad to see him go, where there were equally mad Red Bull fans to see Jake LaCava go and come to us. Didn't really give him any playing time, albeit, on some Inter Miami 2 action, but not the first team, so we didn't really get to see what we had. But it was announced that we are loaning him to the Tampa Bay Rowdies for the remainder of the season. He has played for Tampa Bay before, so they're very happy to have him back. Obviously, they had some highlight reels they shared on that announcement, but there's going to be more to come. What are your thoughts on Jake? You bummed that we didn't really get to see him on the first team?
Yeah, I've been high on him for a little bit. I thought maybe with some of the injuries we'd get to see him, but it sounds like Schneider's pretty much going to be the go-to guy if we bring anybody out and up. I will say I think the Rowdies fans were more upset that he went to us than the Red Bull fans were more upset. You know what I mean? Like they seem to take it a lot harder than the Red Bull fans. They don't want Tampa Bay Rowdies being affiliated with Inter Miami from what it seems like. So you know what? Jake's back at home where he's going to be appreciated for a little bit. I'm happy for him. Hopefully we give him some burn. If not, maybe he's one of those ones we look to offload and make a chunk of change for a team that wants him. So
second loan spell. His first loan spell, 34 appearances and 13 goals. So again, he only played for Inter Miami 6 times and he did score 1. So hopefully he can go back to Tampa, find that beautiful form, get another half year of experience under his belt. He's still growing, still maturing as well, and honing his craft. So hopefully he benefits over there, and then we can experience kind of reaping those said benefits when he does come back to the team, if he comes back to the team, because per our source, it's going to be a very exciting summer. So I expect quite a few moves here. Is there any other moves that are on the radar or anything that you've heard that we haven't covered yet?
Yeah, so absolutely. Israel Boatwright and Lawson Sunderland both got short-term loan agreements from Inter Miami to Inter Miami, and were actually available for yesterday's match. They didn't get any burn, but hey, you know what? Good on him for getting the contract. Boatwright is 18. He made his debut for Inter Miami 2 in 2022. Sunderland is 21 and joined Inter Miami 2 ahead of the 2022 seasons. Sunderland has made 30 appearances, 25 of them starts. He scored 3 goals and registered 2 assists. Sunderland has previously been called up by the U.S. Youth National Team, the U18 side, while Boatwright has represented both the DR youth and senior level teams. He actually just played for the Dominican Republic U20 national team at the FIFA U20 World Cup. So, as we always talk about, our young players are cooking. Our young players are doing stuff on the international stage at their respective age levels. Good on you. Talking about making moves, Schneider Borgelin was called up to the Haitian national team for training camp for the 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup. Good on him for that. And Modesto Mendez has been called up for the Cuban national team for the 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup. In terms of prelims, Benjamin Donato and Sebastian Otero have been called up to the Puerto Rican side for the 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup prelims. So a lot of moves for the younger players, a lot of good exposure on the national stage. I know the DR squad with Eddie and Boatwright balled out at the U20. I believe Eddie scored the first goal for the Dominican U20 side ever at the World Cup stage. So yeah, awesome times for the youth players. Awesome, use of their talents, and they're getting out there, getting their names known, and helping not only themselves grow but their teammates grow. It's going to be good for everybody involved. Excellent.
Good stuff all around. There's some positivity around the club, but we'll keep going, man. I mean, enjoy the 2-week break here. Watch that Nation League. Whatever country you root for, go watch it. It's a good time, man. It's a good time. I want to see if the U.S. can kind of repeat, go back to back, hold their crown. But there's going to be a lot of good games, and it'll be a nice little interesting break before we get back into the MLS regular season. And, you know, we're going to play a few games, and then we're going to go on another break for the Leagues Cup, which is the MLS and Liga MX, which is the Mexican League for all of our new listeners. So a little kind of joint American and Mexican League competition. And that will, start our first game is the 21st against Cruz Azul. That's the one everyone expects Messi to be there. So the Leagues Cup's going to have a lot of extra eyes on it. But coming out of this break for the Nations League, I know there's a lot of league being used in these tournaments, but we're going to come out. We're going to play Philly. We're going to get to that next week. And then it's Austin, Columbus, DC, St. Louis. Not an easy 5-game stretch. Not easy at all. Looks like a couple of midweek games in there as well. But, yeah, man, you know, hey, hang on. We're going to see a lot of good news popping up. We're going to see some sad news. We're probably going to lose some players that, you know, we are fond of, we have grown attached to, or we have high hopes for. But that's the nature of the beast when you sign Messi and he's bringing his friends.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy stretch. And as I already alluded to, I will be posting live on the Instagram and Twitter accounts from Subaru Park, one of my favorite venues to go to, not because I'm a closet Philly fan, as Jay would like to mention to everybody, but because it is one of the easiest places to get tickets for and is the best place to pick up some graphs for the kiddo. He loves adding to his collection of a man cave that makes most grown men cry. So it's gonna be a good time. Looking forward to it. No easy games in there, and it could be a very long stretch once again for us Inter Miami fans.
Fair. Well, I mean, you know, we can sit here and talk in circles about disappointment, but what you got? You got anything exciting up your sleeve? You want to roll into?
We got some league action. Can we talk about Zelly's ridiculous attempt from 22 miles out to win the game in the 93rd minute? Like, I know I have an affinity for Zelly. I think you and I both love a good creative attacking midfielder.
We do.
There's no secret about that.
We do.
But to have the vision to just look up and say, ooh, he's off his line, I got this. And it had pinpoint accuracy. The keeper could do nothing about it. It was an absolute scorcher. LAFC, they're not looking too hot right now, my man. Down 4-0 to Houston last night after getting bounced. What was it in the CONCACAF Champions League? They got bounced, or at least they're down substantially.
So they lost in the CONCACAF Champions League, soon to be CONCACAF Champions Cup. But yeah, they're struggling. Yeah. I mean, they're still, their team still has a lot of quality players. I'm sure they will figure it out. You know, it's not like they're hitting their second 6-game losing streak of the season.
Well, I mean, not everybody can be that skilled to do that.
But Zelly, taking it from midfield, game winner, dude. The man just pulled up Dame Lillard style, said game over, it's done.
And did the Messi celebration. Ripped off his jersey.
Oh yeah,
held it up. Number 10, pulling it out in front of everybody.
Yeah.
That was. And then if you're looking for another stellar goal to check out from today's action,
yes,
St. Louis.
Yep, beat me to it. Go.
St. Louis, ball in from, I do believe it was our own Indy Vasilev.
It was.
And forgive me, I do believe these.
Go try. You want to try it?
Gioacchini.
Hey,
I'm gonna take that. Gioacchini.
Nicolas.
It was like and correct me if I'm wrong, Jay. It was almost like a half scorpion, half back heel. It was just a strike, and it was just a beautiful strike. It was, get anything on it.
Yeah, Gioacchini. You got it. That's pretty good. I like how they have the breakdown of the pronunciation. I mean, it's an audio format thing. They can't see the Italian hand you're throwing, but I will announce
maybe
that.
soon if we launch our YouTube channel.
Only 22 years old. Yeah. To me, it looked like the ball. The ball was coming in the air, and it hit the ground. It was kind of like a half volley flick over his shoulder, like slightly reminiscent to like that Thierry Henry goal, kind of over his shoulder, but like just beautiful goal. Here's the interesting thing. Who's going to win goal of the week now? Because those are two. In any other week, if those two goals don't exist in the same week, either of those goals is going to win that. What do you think?
Zelly's a game winner. It's going to have to be Zelly's. It's got to be Zelly's. It's a game winner from beyond the half field. No no disrespect to Gioacchini. I can't get it right the second time. Look at that. I screwed that up. Yeah. That doing the hands over here. But no disrespect to him. It wasn't a winner. And I think they're going to heavily weigh the fact that a game winner over a tying goal in this situation.
That's a fair point. But the MLS has done some strange things we don't necessarily understand. So we will see. We'll find out soon enough. A couple days, I'm sure they're going to announce the goal of the week. But, man, it's 2 really quality goals. Must be nice to have that on your team.
I mean, we have Joseph who just goes to, back heel or scorpion kick or bicycle kick, anything at this point. So, and maybe one day it'll fall down for us, but I don't know.
I'll say it again. I believe the goal of the year in the MLS last year was Joseph's bicycle kick, which was struck with venom. So I don't know. We'll see. Keep it rolling. One more. Go ahead.
No, we got one last thing for us to cover today, Jay. We have OnlyThans.
Well, I was going to segue into it, but I thought you had something else MLS related.
First off, if you joined our halftime and post-game show on Discord, you got to answer, or you got to ask a lot of questions we may have already touched on. So, make sure you're joining us there. We're going to be doing it at every game. It's a good time. You get to ask your questions, you get to grill us, and you get to see what we sound like when we had a few beers in our system. So it's a good old time. Jay, we have one really good question for today, and this is going to make you think. If you, either one of us, were in Javi Morales' position as interim coach, you had the same problems the squad has, how would you set the team to best succeed tactically, starting lineup, and or formation?
I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks, actually. I think in the move here, right, in kind of what we've played a lot, probably, arguably, our most played formation has been the 4-2-3-1 throughout the existence of Inter Miami. Diego Alonso was a 4-2-3-1 guy. Phil did that a lot. We would rotate sometimes, go 2 up top, however you want to cut it. What I would do here, because what do we got to lose, bro? We can only get better. I would go full Pep Guardiola. I would go full Man City. Invert that. Instead of 4-2-3-1, invert that. And I would go 3-2-4-1. Literally look at our lineup, flip that on its head, and that's what I would do. Obviously, Calendar is going to be our goalie. I think we just go 3 pure backs. We would have Sergey, we would have Kamal, and we would have Yedlin, or arguably even like McVeigh, right? Midfield, we're going to go Dixon Arroyo, Ian Frey, maybe David Ruiz, because we're going to have 4 midfielders, right? And the issue this team has had is a lot of it's with midfield. A lot of it is with midfield. So I think if we flood more midfielders in there with only 1 striker up top, we're going to rotate between Josef and Campana. And we're going to sub them probably 60th minute every game, just alternate it, right? Find out who really fits. Now, who are those 4 midfielders? That would be like the most interesting question. I would be pretty open to even having Negri slide up there on the left wing. If we're not going to play him as the right back in the 3, he can even play on that right side. But, I mean, there's a lot of room in there for Stefanelli, Kromashki. Robbie Taylor would be great as a right wing. And just try and control the midfield as much as possible and see how that works out. Because a lot of times, the defense does have its lapses, but I just think if we had more midfielders in there, and, probably going to have to sit some of the younger guys because we're going to need to pick experience in some of these instances. But, you could even have Ian Frey up there. You could have Pizarro, Taylor, Stefanelli. There are options there. You could even, if you wanted to get it really crazy, you could start Campana and then have Joseph up on the wing. That's what I would do. I think it would address the glaring concern of the midfield stability. A lot of our runs, like they're those marauding runs up the middle, like Ian Frey was doing them a lot from the CDM role. But I just think if you had more control and comfort in the midfield, it'd be something interesting to see. So flip it on its head, flip the thing, go full Pep Guardiola, 3 at the back, 2 CDMs, 4 mids, one attacker. That's what I would do. What would you do?
All right, I'm gonna pull out of the closet of what I know here. I'm going base 4-4-2. I'm going Sir Alex Ferguson 4-4-2. We're gonna have pivoting wing backs with our wingers. So we're gonna have them get into attack, and when they go into attack, our wingers slide back in. We're gonna have two holding deep playmaking midfielders. We're going to have our two attackers up top that are going to be tasked with making the most happen with what they can. All right. When we go into the defensive mindset, I would slide into exactly what you're already talking about. That's a perfect formation for a defensive mindset. We're going to go ahead and give our center attacking, one of our center mids, we're going to allow them to slide up into the center attacking mid, have two out wide, go one up top, four across the middle. And then when we go into an attacking sense, I'm going to say we go back to a 4-4-2, but instead of having your two deep playmakers, you're going to bump one of them into almost like a center attacking role, let one of them maraud, have one of your playmakers stay back and kind of swing into that CDM role, but it's still going to hold that 4-4-2 shape, if that makes sense. I'd also make sure that we are more centralized. We're more compact. We let them have the wing, but we're not going to let them to cut through us like a hot knife through butter. That's the key to all of this. I don't disagree with any of your player choices, so I'm not even going to get into that. But tactically and formationally, I'm going to say that we stick with a 4-4-2, and then either defensively or attacking, we change what it looks like. Because I think in a world, and I could be wrong, and somebody might laugh their ass off at me and whatever, so be it. But I think that we have so many crazy formations right now, going back to the basics and just having those pivoting wingers and backs might help. If everybody plays centrally, everybody plays close, you can play on the wing all day. If you can't get the ball in the middle, it doesn't matter. So That's what I would do.
I also like that because I think that's more natural to the players that we have. Our standard starters would be more comfortable playing in that 4-4-2. But, what do both of ours have in common? We're basically rolling with four midfielders pushing up. And, if we were to go the three at the back, 2-4-1, like I said, you could even play Yedlin and Negri as those wingers in that formation, and they could, pivot back to make a 4-back line or both drop back and get 5 at the back when needed. So, all right, man, I like that. It's slightly different, but I think our heads are in a similar place. So I like that. Good stuff, bud.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That's the only question I have for you today. It was pretty light because, again, not to say it one more time, but we had our halftime and post-game discussion in our Discord channel. Make sure you guys jump in, join. We keep sharing at least once every other day, sharing our Discord link on Twitter. So please make sure you are checking it out and joining us.
All right, buddy. We finally did it. We finally did a sub 45-minute episode. Look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Can you believe it?
The amount of times we've said, we can keep this 30, 45 minutes, and it's hour, 15 minutes. Anyway, well done, buddy. Well done. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Inter Miami podcast. If you do not already, follow us on Twitter at InterMIA podcast, on Instagram at Inter Miami podcast. We'll reiterate that one more time. Thank you for all the new love we've received on Twitter. Make sure you follow the Instagram as well. That's where the majority of the reels, stories, live video, stuff that is going on around the stadium is being shared too. So you don't want to miss out on that stuff. But we will be back next week. We'll dive a little bit deeper into the Philadelphia game. Probably will have some more player acquisitions, moves, rumors to discuss. What else you got, buddy? I see you got one more thing.
Yeah, make sure you are checking out our new article series by our one and only Caden. Yep. If you're new to the team, he did a phenomenal job putting together an article about what the team is about, what they've been through, what we've seen, what we've gone through, which is pretty much tears and pain at this point. But hey, check it all out. Give him a like. Reshare it. And if you're on our social media, please reshare our stuff and like our stuff. Drop a comment what you like, what you don't like. We got thick skin over here. We're not afraid. So please let us know. And we appreciate every single one of you.
Exactly. And, that was something that a lot of people on Twitter reached out to us about. Hey, can you guys, share some information on, who is Inter, what's the history, or, tell us about the MLS, how it operates, how the salary cap and all these strange foreign American rules you have in place go. So we will be doing our best to explain that to all the newly acquired Inter Messi fans, basically. But stay tuned for all that. We'll be back soon. And as we end every single episode, vamos, Miami.
Vamos, Miami. Vamos, Messi.